The world's greatest harness racing happens every Friday and Saturday night at Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment. Live racing kicks off under the lights with a 6:20 p.m. post time. Admission and parking are free. The track is also open for simulcasting 7 days a week. Our FanDuel Sportsbook is also open 7 days a week, and you can legally watch and wager on all your favorite sports action. Visit PlayMeadowlands.com for complete racing, dining, and sports wagering information. Must be 18 or older to wager on racing, 21 plus to wager on sports. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Superstar Jimmy Freight, the richest and fastest son of sports rider who continues to race and win in the top classes at Mohawk Park in 2022. Now a winner of $1.5 million. Watch for his first crop yearlings selling at major sales this fall. Jimmy Freight stands at Winback Farm of Canada for $3,500 Canadian with multiple full discounts available. Visit winbackfarm.com or call 905-838-2145.
The gates fly. From the beautiful Niagara Escarpment in Campbellville, Ontario, Woodbine Mohawk Park. Home to the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic. The Mohawk Million on Canada's richest night of racing. And returning this fall, the Breeders' Crown Championships.
A wild finish wins the Breeders' Crown.
Woodbine Mohawk Park. Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. You gotta play here.
Welcome to Twos in Training. I'm Jaimi MacDonald, and we're catching up with the fractional ownership co-founder, Anthony MacDonald, today. In 2015, Amy and Anthony started the Stable.ca here in Canada as a fractional ownership group. Just a few short years later, in 2019, they became the recipient of the Cam Fella Award. Now, in 2022, they've got 60 babies in training, and we're going to hear a little bit about them today. Anthony MacDonald joins us now for Twos in Training on the Harness Racing Update. And before we get into your horses, let's talk about that $1 million spot in the Mohawk Million coming this summer. How did that decision come about, and do you have anyone in mind?
Listen, we get a lot of horses. We're hopeful. The decision was easy. Listen, Mohawk's 10 minutes away. We have a lot of clients that are very interested in racing in those types of races. And, you know, we bought horses that wouldn't be shocked if you saw them in those types of races. So it made sense. I left it completely up to our clients, and it was completely in-house. We agreed upon it and bought the spot. So I was pretty pumped. But it just goes to show, you know, the growth of what we've done and how we've done it, and the people that we have involved. Great group of people. As I said before, like over 900 people in 13 countries, and all 900 of them love racing, I can tell you that.
2015, you started the Stable.ca, and it's grown tremendously since then. Tell us about how just getting new client goes about. We see online all the time from your car or airports or wherever we may find you, that you find these, you know, future clients everywhere.
Well, I mean, I've said this when we started the stable. There was it's been no shock to me that people wanted to get involved. I mean, I say it all the time. Dollar for dollar, horse racing is the most affordable entertainment in mainstream sports, and I think the stable has proven that. You know, we find people that like horse racing, that like the excitement, the entertainment, and just the ride along the way from all the yearlings and all the racehorses. Now, this year we've had a few more racehorses, but again, that has bubbled up from our ranks. These are still people that got involved with young horses that have fallen in love with racing the same way that you or I or anybody else did, and they want to experience different types of racing. And I'm not shocked at any of this. I was all along the way, how quickly it grew, how big it grew, but this is how I guess part of me envisioned it. I guess the optimistic side of me envisioned it, and it's really come to fruition. And I guess the only downside, I'm a little, I guess, surprised that more trainers, more people haven't tried it. I know you see it in the Maritimes. I see it in Australia and New Zealand. I get text messages and emails all the time, but right here at home in North America, it's been a little slower than I thought.
Slower to catch on, maybe, and a lot more work than some people may anticipate.
I think you hit it right on the head. You know, we have an industry full of great people. They come to the barn, they'll clean 10 stalls, 20 stalls, they'll work their butts off all day long, but when it comes to conversing with clients or procuring clients or bringing new people in, it's an added level of work that maybe they aren't comfortable with, and it's the part of my job I love the most is conversing with our clients, and it's a wonderful feeling to be involved with and surrounded by people that love the game as much as you. And the oldest adage is if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life, and I haven't worked for quite a while.
That's great to hear. And now, talking of growing the stable.ca, you're not just acquiring more horses, but trainers as well. Tell us about how you onboard maybe a new trainer to the stable.ca and then divide those horses up throughout everybody.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've all seen the industry kind of somewhat shrink along the way, and good, honest, hardworking horse people have been kind of washed away, right? And you see it with a guy like Harry Polton. There's a guy that had not one but two horses that anybody that ever was in horse racing would absolutely love to have, and for whatever reason just shrunk down and woke up one day and said, maybe I don't love it as much as I did before. And I think that is where the new people coming into the industry is so important. It really breathes a breath of fresh air into horse people too, because we forget, right? We're surrounded by horses and the same people every day. Sometimes you get run down, but being around people that everything is new and exciting to them, it's just a wonderful feeling. And I think even a guy like Harry, if you asked him, it really kind of breathes new air into his lungs also.
For sure. And it's also a physically demanding job as well. The weather, the outside, inside, 7 days a week for a lot of people. So it is, you kind of shrink down. Some trainers do as they get a little bit older and take on smaller roles or smaller clients.
Yeah, and I think that's another added feature is that, we take care of everything. So the trainer just has to come and be a trainer, do the job that they once fell in love with if for some reason they don't anymore. And what you find is, and whether this be Harry or Mario or even a guy like Jason, anybody, you just find that bounce back in your step. And I know I did along the way, and I can see it with them too. They're engaged. They actually like talking to the clients when they come to the barn, where before, maybe in their past life, so to speak, they would maybe hide from them, not want to talk to them on a Saturday afternoon when they're trying to get the horses put away. But it just seems like everybody in our group, everybody that we do business with, understands that the core of our business, and really, quite frankly, the core of horse racing's business, is bringing new people in. And to be able to converse with these people, yeah, I'm sure it's different, right? It's at another added piece to horse racing that maybe you weren't ready for if you're from an old school type of mentality. But I can tell you right now, it's a wonderful feeling, and you don't have to ask me. You can ask the other guys. They're the same way.
Now let's get into some of your horses before we jump into the 2-year-olds. What about your 3-year-olds coming back this season?
We were very fortunate last year. We had a wonderful run with a horse named 3 Point Blue Chip, our first big win. A great win for James. I get to experience that with my wife, who took care of the horse all last year, and for most of the summer until he went down to the Breeders' Crown. Jason dropped him off the Breeders' Crown, raced him, and then we'd sent the horse down to Dover to Jim King. And all along that ride, it was very personal and very close for her, my brother James, who really got to see the horse explode forward in a big way and was a huge part of that. And for us to experience that together was amazing. So we got high hopes for him, but you never know what the future holds. The wonderful part about this business is, you try to mitigate the down days with the hopes of better days ahead sometimes, and it's always tomorrow. That's the exciting part. So him, Bomb Hugger was a great filly for us in New York last year. Really pleased with the way she's been training back. Really happy with her. Grace, right here in Jason's barn in Ontario, has been training back good. So cautiously optimistic with her also. Taiwan On is ready to go. She was third in the Pennsylvania finals last year, trotted in 55. And then, of course, we had 3 pretty good horses last year in Ohio with Slim Jimmy, Sweet on Pete, and Purple Aura. They've all trained back good. Qualified school. They're trained for the most part around 56, so they're ready to go. So it should be a great year for us in almost every jurisdiction when we look across the board: Kentucky, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Ontario, and everywhere around there. We have something to look forward to. So whether it's the 2-year-olds coming up, who we're super excited about, or the 3-year-olds who already proved themselves at 2, that we're looking for their sophomore season to be sunny, then we definitely have a lot to look forward to for sure.
And not just in North America, but down under, you've got 5 horses. Just a kind of recap of what's going on there.
Yeah, that was an odd experience getting involved with Daniel Cordina and Darren McCall, who was in North America for the longest time. We bought some horses down there, had some real good luck with a filly named Girl from Oz, and some other horses down there. So it's different, but it just goes to show you, if we have people in North America or also other countries that want to buy horses in Australia, I'll never ever see Girl from Oz again, probably with my own 2 eyes up close. but to be able to engage them in a way that they feel comfortable owning those horses says a lot about our industry in general.
Let's get into some of the 2-year-olds you have here. The first one we're going to talk about is Brace for Landing. You have a few tactical landings, first crop. We'll go through those first. So this colt here for $155,000 from Harrisburg.
Yeah, this was the first year. Everybody wants to go to the sale and get the horse they want, but it rarely happens. It never happened for me that I can ever remember. And this year was the first year in every single sale we went to, the horse that the top horse that I wanted, we got. Now I have to be realistic and say, hey, is this horse affordable? Are you just dreaming, or can you buy them? A lot of the times you'll find a lot of first crop sires in our barn because there are horses you find value with. Last year we had bought 3 Point Blue Chip and Unbeatable Kemp, who were Walners. Now that's before he became Walner. Then he was just a first crop sire, so we ended up with a couple of Walners. We're very fortunate for them and hope to keep that luck going with the tactical landings, and so far so good. I think we have 6 of them and they're all training very, very good. This was a colt obviously from Jimmy Tactor and Nancy Tactor's family mare Solvig. A really, really nice colt. He's training down well. He made a break today, but everybody kind of protects him a little bit. I noticed my wife went with him today and she had him kind of hidden away, and he went to trot really hard on the end of it and just rolled off. But he's looked fantastic, and in fact the last drone day James went with him and the horse just looked bionic. So it's a long year, a lot going on, and he's still growing as he goes, but got the right attitude and got his head on square, so really hopeful for him.
Another big purchase here was Una Madonna, a filly tactical landing.
Yeah, a lot of French blood in that filly. I was drawn to her yearling video, which I try not to do, because his Curtis stands there. I can know what editing looks like sometimes. So I try to look at, the horse's pedigree page, try to price it, and then I'll go to the yearling video. And man, I was just drawn to her. She's a beautiful filly. She does her work well. She actually trained very well today. She was coming off the virus a little bit, but she's been amongst our top trainers. A lot of these tactical landings have, and I've been floored with her, and I think she's just on her way back to 100% now, but she was pretty good this morning too.
And moving on to tactical mounds, another filly, $27,000 for this one at Lexington.
We had a little bad luck with this filly. She tripped in December, tripped and had ripped her knees open. Just walking along, I guess babies are pretty soft, and cut her knees up pretty good, and had missed some time, and I didn't really know how long it would take her to get back in the swing of things, but man, it didn't take her long at all. She was very, very strong today. It almost feels, like I said to James, like she's bored. Like we're going at the speeds we're supposed to be, and we don't want to push them very much now, but you almost get this distinct feeling like she's bored training with these other horses right now. I don't know where she starts and ends. She's got a big, beautiful gait, and she's very, very strong. So I'm eager. You talk about these tactical landings. I don't know how everybody else has seen, but ours are super eager to do their work and just seem like they got this big, big engine in them.
Next one is Horn Player filly, your tactical landing for $45,000 at Lexington.
She has been training so good. Big, 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 powerful filly, and she's so smart. I was telling everybody today, this is a tight half. This is a tight half-mile track. She's a big girl. And after the mile, going into the turn, we're trotting pretty hard, and she was looking for a way to get through that turn for the last 2 weeks, and it almost seemed like she had to drift out in the 2.5 wide lane, and then you could just feel her settle in, almost, I guess, like a thoroughbred. She found a lane that she liked, and she just blasted through the turn, and it's just so impressive how smart she is and how far she's come. I really, really like her.
Next up is your Father Patrick colt for $17,000 at Lexington, Enzo Enzo.
Enzo's been, as I said, a real breath of fresh air for us. My buddy Jeff Ruck and Steve Palermo had bred this horse, and he was actually going through the ring for a lot less than I thought he'd bring. He wasn't really on my list of horses to buy, but I had priced him for both of them what I thought he was worth, and he was going for a lot less. I made a decision quite quickly to buy him, and then we would find owners for him after. We did, knowing that the people that owned him, that we just bought him off, were friends of ours anyway. So I just thought at that time it made sense to purchase him, considering I had just priced the horse for them, and he was going for a lot less than I had said he was worth. I guess I had to put my money where my mouth was, so to speak. We bought him, and man, he's not as big, he's not small, but he's not as big as some of the other colts. But man, he is quick on his feet, quick as a cat, and I think he's going to be a lot of fun to race this summer. He could be a real, real nice horse. I don't know, but he's done everything absolutely perfectly since we broke him.
Carter Michael Duo is up next. Your international money first crop colt for $25,000.
A lot went into buying this colt. I really liked him. and Merchantman. They were on day 2. I had bought Muscle Hill filly on day 1 and literally traded her for those 2 horses. I wanted both those the Father Patrick International Money colt. We had bought them both, and Steve and I ended up swapping. So the other one will probably be a world champion, I'm sure. But Carter Michael Dio, almost maybe one of the best horses bred-wise that we bought. He is so powerful and so strong on this track. If you were literally to push me today and say, which one would you say would be the best one? It changes every week almost, but I can tell you today it could very likely be Carter Michael Dio. He is a big, strong colt. He loves his work. He's bossy, not bully, not rude, but he's bossy, and he just has a ton of good things going on for him right now, and I really, really like this colt.
And how about your Enterprise filly, High Enterprise?
It depends who you ask. You ask Amy, she was a little upset with her today. She made a break on her, but she's been great. Again, that was my top pick in the Ohio sale, the select sale. First foal from a Muscle Hill mare, if I'm not mistaken. Trot's really nice, just a set of trotting boots and a line pole on her. She usually can really rock, and today I think Amy just maybe had her in a spot where she wasn't paying attention at that particular moment, rolled off, but for the most part, she's been lights out all year. Very, very happy with her. She's amongst one of our top horses in the entire stable, Ohio or otherwise. Really, really impressed with her.
Next up, we have First Crop for Ontario from my MVP, Lady All-Star.
Yeah, probably one of the most stubborn, rude horses we broke this year. But as we poured all the work into her and kept polishing her, she along the way decided that 1, she wanted to be a racehorse, and 2, figured out she was actually really fast. So her attitude has come a long way. She's very polite now, still a little headstrong and loves to do her work, but is very, very good at it. And this is I hesitated to put Crantini on this list. I love him too. He's in International Money, and these guys are actually first cousins. So Lady All-Star, again, one of my top picks. The reason I went to the win-back sale to begin with to look at all the horses was to go look at this filly. We ended up buying her, and I've just been happy. The first month or so, I was like, man, this thing is crazy. But she's really polished herself up and turned into a nice horse and has a lot of speed to offer. So I think her attitude has come so far. I think that's going to be the deciding factor. She's decided now she wants to be a horse, and I think she's going to be a really nice one.
And your next one is Spitfire Overseas, $25,000 at Harrisburg.
Another one of the International Money's first crop kind of angles that we bought. He was a gorgeous horse, decent breeding, good-looking horse. He's big. He's probably one of our bigger horses as a yearling, a big chunk of a colt. And for him to get around the track the way he does here is impressive. Anytime you see a big horse doing their work so well, it's always impressive. And Spitfire Overseas has been great. Danny goes with him all the time and loves him to death. And he's just a really likable horse. He really doesn't do anything wrong. And again, he's just one of these horses that really could be any type of horse come the summer.
Tailgate Buzz by Bar Hopping at Lexington for $22,000.
Yeah, we've had 3 horses out of this mare now. The last 3, Taiwan did nothing but good for us in Pennsylvania last year. Won the Arden Stakes Grand Circuit race, I guess. Won the Arden Stakes in 55-2 for Hunter Myers. And then I was third in the final of 54 and a piece, I think, with her at the Meadows also. I believe it was the Meadows. She raced great. Been a good mare for filly for us all year. Really expecting her to come back and do good things as a 3-year-old, as a sophomore. The 4-year-old, Tipsy and Dixie, was a very good horse for us right here in Ontario. So this is the younger brother, the full brother to Taiwan, the half brother to Tipsy and Dixie, and he's been training great. Johnny McKinnon goes to him all the time and absolutely loves him. He was very, very good today training. I've been very impressed with this colt. So, the Schaefer farms in Pennsylvania do a great job breeding, growing their horses up, and they certainly did a great job with this mare and all her foals for sure.
Now, you talked earlier about having, money or ahead of time for horses and then not having it ahead of time and getting most of the ones that you wanted first time this year. How do you go about when you buy something and you don't quite have the owners to back you up in a fractional ownership?
Well, in the fractional ownership, we do have the owners. It's just a matter of having an open line of communication and saying, okay, this is what in past years we would go and purchase the horses, knowing there were people there, but not necessarily having them earmarked for any particular horse or dollar amount. Is most of the trainers in North America know that can be very stressful sometimes. So what we did this year was really ask people to speak up beforehand, which was new to them. Virtually what I'm saying is I'm going to ask you to give me money and I'm not going to tell you what you're getting for it. So it was it was a leap of faith, but I think we've built a rapport with our clients in such a manner that they trusted what we were doing. You know, last year and the year before that, our rate of getting horses to the races is very high. No, we haven't had a world champion, but we haven't really been positioned to do so. This is the first year where we've really bought a lot of really talented, deep colts and fillies with deep pedigrees. And, you know, where we're at right now is where every trainer wants to be. We want to know if we can compete on the world stage. You know, I believe we can. We've proven that we can do well in every jurisdiction, and there's no reason to think we can't. And our clients have clearly had the confidence in us this year to put us in that position. So time will tell. You know, every year is a new year, but as I said before, you know, the hopes of tomorrow are really what keep a lot of people going, and especially me as a part owner and a trainer, it definitely keeps me going, and I've been very, very happy with what I've seen, and couldn't be happier with the way things have gone at thestable.ca for sure.
Thank you for joining us here on the Harness Racing Update.
No problem. Thank you.
The world's greatest harness racing happens every Friday and Saturday night at Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment. Live racing kicks off under the lights with a 6:20 p.m. post time. Admission and parking are free. The track is also open for simulcasting 7 days a week. Our FanDuel Sportsbook is also open 7 days a week, and you can legally watch and wager on all your favorite sports action. Visit PlayMeadowlands.com for complete racing, dining, and sports wagering information. Must be 18 or older to wager on racing, 21 plus to wager on sports. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The gates fly from the beautiful Niagara Escarpment in Campbellville, Ontario. Woodbine Mohawk Park, home to the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic. The Mohawk Million on Canada's richest night of racing. And returning this fall, the Breeders' Crown Championships.
A wild finish wins the Breeders' Crown.
Woodbine Mohawk Park. Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. You gotta play here.
Superstar Jimmy Freight, the richest and fastest son of sports rider who continues to race and win in the top classes at Mohawk Park in 2022. Now a winner of $1.5 million. Watch for his first crop yearlings selling at major sales this fall. Jimmy Freight stands at Winback Farm of Canada for $3,500 Canadian with multiple full discounts available. Visit winbackfarm.com or call 905-838-2145.